meeting the match?
Okay, so we have, as I said, a $4.7 million budget. So we got to raise that kind of money every year. A third of it comes from, basically a third comes from government entities. A third comes from corporations and foundations. And a third comes from the fact that we are a certifying entity. And we do WOSB certification as well as WeBank certification for WBE status. And that's another third of our budget. So our development team is focused on corporations and foundations. So, and there's two types of corporate and foundation fundraising. One is program driven. So it's economic development programming. They're focused on established businesses with, corporations and foundations target their giving. So we have to make sure it's aligned with what we need. And then the other piece of it is procurement related. You've got corporations that are very interested in making sure they have a diverse supply chain. And they support centers like the WBDC because they want to get to know our clients so they can do business with them. So corporate and foundations, it's all programming. But basically we have over 70 corporate partners here at the WBDC in one of those two categories.
And in terms of the budgets that the individual entities have, the different WBCs, do they have money, do they receive budgetary funds above the match amount?
Do they receive money above the match amount?
Sure. So let me give you a little bit of context. So, for example, some organizations that we've talked to have said, oh, well, our WBC operates with basically $300,000 as the operating budget. Whereas others have said, so that would be the match plus the grant. Whereas others have said, oh, yes, we operate with $700,000. We have our grant from the SBA, we have our match, and then we have other funds that we raise to support our programming and other initiatives.
Well, so we're a women's business development center, right? So there are a lot of things that we do that benefit clients of the WBC, but we don't charge the WBC for it.
Ah, okay.
So we don't say you can only receive the services of the WBC, because that's all the WBC is paying for it. The benefit of the center is if you're a client of the center, regardless if you are a WBC client or an SBDC client or a VBOC client or a PTAC client, everything that we do is open to everyone that's a client of the center. So getting services of our WBC provides you with way more opportunities than the WBC is paying for.
That makes
the WBC doesn't pay for our Access to Capital program. All of our clients who are WBC clients can benefit from the Access to Capital program.
That makes sense. So it seems like it's more of an integrated service delivery system that you all offer.
Right. And I have to tell you, one of my concerns is not the women's business centers, but some of the government programs, and I will cite the VBOC in particular, they promote more isolation, which wonderful, but not all programs are and Bruce Purdy is wonderful, but not all programs are as well run as the women's business centers.
Why do you think the women's business centers are run so well?
I think it's because the experience of the leadership at those centers.
I want to talk a little bit about kind of when you say experience, it brings me to my next question is program and service staffing. So how are the individual programs and services at your centers staffed?
So we have direct and indirect, right?
Yes.
So we have those that are directly focused. Some are 100%, some are 50% on particular programs. And then we have the infrastructure that supports them. So that's how they're staffed. It's what for grant purposes, it's what the grant can afford. But the center overall leverages its resources for the benefit of all of our clients. So if we had an event, let's say, for our Women's Business Center, we had a workshop. We wouldn't say you can only attend this workshop if you are a Women's Business Center. We'd open it for other women business owners. Some might not have it. And most of our outreach would come from other clients within the center. And then some of those clients could become direct clients of the Women's Business Center.
That makes sense. Our research shows that your programs have been very, very successful overall. But along the way, have you encountered any programs or services that have just kind of not been the best?
Yes.
Can you tell us about some of those?
I think the biggest issue that we experienced here at the WBDC, that we were experienced when I came over from the WBDC, is that women-owned businesses had grown, and our curriculum had not grown with the topics that were relevant to those women business owners. That's number one. So elevating our programming was critical. Serving our clients in a multi-channel environment was critical. So we have a huge online on-demand platform. Becoming more geographically convenient, which has to do with collaboration. And with the advent of incubators, which don't provide technical assistance, they're really real estate models that have volunteers that are there, is forming collaborative relationships with incubators.
You mentioned that you have quite a bit of service online. What do you perceive as the challenges and benefits associated with that delivery model?
Well, it's not or, it's and. So it's not in lieu of face-to-face, it's in addition to. So, for example, if you sign up for our multi-week curriculum, we require that you take Business Finance 101 online before you show up for class. Why is that? Because we need a